The beginning of Parshat Vayishlach details for us Yaakov Avinu's preparation in meeting his brother Esav after 20 years, recalling that Yaakov Avinu had fled from Esav with the terrible wrath that Esav had felt upon the experience of having his brachos being taken from him. The Parsha begins, then Yaakov sent angels ahead of him to Esav his brother, in the land of Seir, the field of Edom. He charged them, saying, "Thus shall you say to my lord, to Esav, so said your servant Yaakov." And we clearly see here, to my lord, to Esav, the servant Yaakov, the way that Yaakov Avinu is speaking with such humility. "I have sojourned with Lavan, and I have lingered until now. I have acquired oxen and donkeys, flock servants and maidservants, and I am sending to tell my lord to find favor in your eyes." The angels returned to Yaakov, saying, "We came to your brother to Esav, wherever he is heading toward you, and 400 men are with him." I like to, Mirz Hashem, today focus in on one phrase. Very famous phrase, very famous Rashi. On the phrase, Im Lavan Garti, Rashi notes two opinions. Source number 2. The verb garti, lodge, implies staying as a stranger. Ger means an alien. Thus Yaakov meant to tell Esav, "I have not become a great prince, nor have achieved status. I have remained merely an alien. Therefore you need not hate me for having received Father's blessing, since it has clearly not been fulfilled." So in Lavan Garti, I'm an alien, right? Don't be so angry at me. Don't feel so hatred toward me. I haven't made anything of myself. And the second interpretation, midrashically, the numerical value of Garti equals Taryag, 613. Thus Yaakov implied to Esav, "Though I have sojourned with Lavan, I have observed the 613 commandments, and I have not learned from his evil ways." This was a message to Esav. They should not trifle with Yaakov, for his righteousness was still intact. This is the understanding of Rashi. Let's just take a look at Rashi, raise 3 questions, and then we'll raise a question in the forest view, not only the tree view. Im Lavan Garti, Rashi brings 2 interpretations. The first interpretation I can understand, I've been a ger. Yaakov Avinu is saying to Lavan, as a ger, as somebody who's an alien, a foreigner, I haven't achieved status. Therefore, you shouldn't be jealous of me. Then Rashi brings a second interpretation. It's a famous interpretation. It's so famous that sometimes we even feel it's found in the text. Im Lavan Garti, Rashi says, "V'taryag mitzvos shamarti, v'lo lamadati." And I didn't learn Ma'asav harayim from his evil ways. So when we look at this Rashi, we have 3 major questions that immediately enter our head. 1. Taryag mitzvos shamarti? As the Sharei Derech in source number 4 notes, did he really keep Taryag mitzvos? He's living outside of Eretz Yisrael. He didn't do the mitzvah of Kibbud Avayim. Obviously he didn't do Taryag mitzvos. And further we know, my friends, in order to do all 613 mitzvos, you have to be a Kohen, a male, a female, you have to be married, you have to be divorced, you have to be so many things. It's impossible for anybody to keep Taryag mitzvos. So what does Rashi mean when he says that Yaakov Avinu says, "V'taryag mitzvos shamarti"? I kept Taryag mitzvos. Impossible. How do we understand this phrase? That's question 1. Question 2 is the end of Rashi. "And I didn't learn from his evil ways." Obviously, if he's going to keep the Taryag mitzvos, the 613 commandments, isn't it obvious he didn't learn from his evil ways? What does that phrase come to add? And again, there's a lot of interpretations in everything that we're learning. And the final question, source number 3, we touched on an answer a few minutes ago, but we'll ask the question, "V'ne'u mefarshim limsod tam hadvarim, lama v'l'shem ezet tzarech shalach Yaakov le'esav, et ha'oda'ah hazot sheshamar taryag hamitzvos, v'shu mei b'tzidkato." Why does Esav care that Yaakov Avinu has been keeping Taryag mitzvos? What's the point? Why is Yaakov Avinu sharing this with Esav? Those are our technical questions. The overall question is, obviously, Yaakov Avinu, who's the Bechir Ha'avos, who's the greatest of all the forefathers, when he is speaking here about his adherence to Torah mitzvos, he is setting up for us in this Rashi, in this pasuk of Im Lavan Garti, a model for us how we can be faithful followers as well. And in each of these questions, I'd like to try to learn out an element that we can focus in on for our lives, that we can learn from Yaakov Avinu on how to be a faithful follower. And then after we look at these three questions and understand these three elements, I like to then step back and look at the entirety of this section and learn from it a much deeper lesson about the dynamics between Yaakov and Esav, the dynamics of this meeting and its relevancy to our lives as ultimately being the best faithful follower we can be. So let's start. How is it possible, question one, that Yaakov Avinu was able to say, Taryag mitzvos shamarti? No one can keep Taryag mitzvos.